Right. Right, hello guys, watching Go Dot 2, and today we're going to do Steven Moffat's era, 5 my favourite Steven Moffat stories, not including anything he's written out of his era, so only in his era. So without further ado, let's get into 5 stories that I just really enjoy from Steven Moffat. At 5th place is Time of the Doctor, and I think Steven Moffat did pretty well with the story, with the structure, and it constantly, with all these villains and stuff, yet alone he had that plan for Series 8. He had that. It was an ongoing arc for maybe he thought 11th Doctor Matt Smith's last series would have been Series 8, and he had that plan, but 11th Doctor Matt Smith decided he wanted to go at Christmas, and he went with Christmas, so Moffat just changed it all and put it in one story, and it still kind of worked with Twice Upon a Time, and I think not Twice Upon a Time of the Doctor, and that working quite well with little homages to certain things we know, like Clara holding onto the TARDIS, just like Captain Jack. Then we had other elements that just looked familiar. We got to see a bit more of Clara's family as well, even in this story, even though it was heavily focused on the 11th Doctor's last story. But I think that worked as well, going to check on Clara's family and then checking back on the Doctor, and he's got older and years have passed since we last seen him, and he's going throughout Trenzalore. And the Doctor realising he's in on Trenzalore as well, and the truce field with the Time Lord crack. It all added up quite well to, it's not the best regeneration story, but it added up to a good story at least. And yeah, of course, the Daleks were the last ones to attack the Doctor and force him into regeneration, you could say, of old age. He's wearing a bit thin, and he blows up the Dalek fleet, and we get Peter Capaldi in the TARDIS. And I just love Matt Smith's last speech in the TARDIS as well, and him seeing Amy's, his first face his face saw, and stuff like that, and it was just brilliant, adding up to Matt Smith's era. It's quite well, and it felt fairy tale-y and brilliantly adding up to Matt Smith's last story, and I think Steven Moffat pulled it off with what he had, and he did quite well. And yeah, next up at 4th place we have Heaven Sent, of course, one of Steven Moffat's famous scripts, and you would decide, why is it at 4th place, it should be higher. Maybe that's for you, but for me it is at 4th place, and I'm happy with it being in the top 5. I really enjoy Heaven Sent, and I think it's a brilliant one to show off Peter Capaldi's acting, of him controlling the camera on his own, with Richard Telley or whatever her name is, who films it brilliantly. Steven Moffat's writing just brilliantly amazing in claustrophobicness, and the veil coming slowly and slowly and slowly until it gets you. And Pete Capaldi just driving the story on with the writing, and it must be immense by Steven Moffat. He must have felt tired after writing this magnificent, brilliant script, which I think, yeah, credit to Steven Moffat. He did well, and I really enjoy it. 3rd place now is Day of the Doctor. No, sir. All 13. I absolutely love Day of the Doctor. I bloody love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's interesting. We have David Tennant. We have Billy Piper at the moment. We have Clara brilliantly as a companion. Matt Smith, of course, the current Doctor. And John Hurt as the War Doctor. And the Time Lords. And the Daleks. And the Zygons. And Unit. And Osgood. And Kate Stewart. And so on and so on. And Black Archive. And yeah, just brilliant. Just absolutely bloody brilliant with Day of the Doctor. There's so much going on. There's so much to blah 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 and this and this and this, and it just all adds up together right at the end with a little bow. And you can also say we got a sequel to Day of the Doctor with Zygon Invasion for Series 9, and I just think that ties up with the Zygons quite well as well. So yeah, Day of the Doctor. Steven Moffat had a lot to do, and he had to do it also in 3D simultaneously across certain countries, and it was brilliantly well done in cinema. And yeah, credit to Steven Moffat with his writing, with his performance, and yet again he always says the 50th anniversary killed off Steven Moffat, and it was the hardest script he's ever performed, but he really enjoyed it, and he enjoyed that he did it, and you could certainly tell that he was enjoying, and you could see Steven Moffat's mind playing together with these Doctors, and it was just brilliantly well written, and credit to him. Next up at 2nd place is the 11th Hour. I'm definitely a madman in a box, and him running around and exploring his new body and his new feelings and his new emotions, and looking around the place, and Sherlock Holmes zooms in and stuff like that. 11th Doctor, Matt Smith's performance is incredible. Amy Pond, well written with her fairy tale of a kid and then being an adult. Steven Moffat's mind brilliantly working that in. Seems this story is actually meant for the 10th Doctor, and he tweaked it until it worked for the 11th Doctor, and I think Steven Moffat's mind incredibly for that, and I think he pulled it off quite well, and why it's at second place as Steven Moffat's best script in his era, and I think that's brilliant. I just really enjoy it, and it's kind of, yet again, at 5th place we had Time of the Doctor. 11th Hour ties in with the Time of the Doctor with the crack, and also ties in with Silence Will Fall. The 11th Doctor's is regenerated, and we're also getting how the 11th Doctor's going to die, you know? It's just like, from the get-go, God. And at first place, because we're doing stories, remember, got Willed Enough in Time, The Doctor Falls, and Twice Upon a Time as one story. I love this, and I count it as one whole thing. I love Willed Enough in Time. You could never you'd never be so self-destructive in a Master in Disguise, former Prime Minister, and he pulls off the mask, and Missy pretending to be Doctor Who, oh, you're blue. Oh, bring me some beans on toast, is that flirting? And it's just, they've got comedicness, but it's all dark, and Bill gets shot and a hole in her chest. Giggity. Yeah, and then we also get Stand Away. You will stand away. And you can slowly see the Mondasian Simon building up to be Bill Potts. Bill Potts is me. And you're just like, I waited for you. And you're just like constantly seeing the evolution of the Sidemen. It's brilliant and it's interesting. I just love it. Seems Sidemen are my favourite villain. And John Sims' Master is my favourite Master. So seeing them in the same, it's just like, of course, there was a reveal of John Sim being in the series, and I think that would have benefited me if I didn't know, because then I wouldn't have seen through his disguise, but I knew straight away it was John Sim. But yeah, I think it brilliantly worked, the plot twist, and then we have that leading into Bill as a Sidemen, the two Masters standing there, 12's like... And then we go into Doctor Falls, and we have that dynamic. The Sidemen electrocutes 12. 12 gets shot by Cybermen. 12 blows himself up. 12 dies quite a lot in this, and he's holding off death with the last of his breath and the regeneration. And yeah, you can certainly see him fighting on and living on as much as he can. And we also have Missy and John Sim and that dynamic, and then basically the Cybermen turn against them because of the Doctor, and then they have to go on the run. And Missy stabs John Sim. John Sim shoots Missy, and they're both regenerating and dying and going off. And I love that, and it's such a poetic way to kill off the Master. I think it's the best way we're ever going to get. And then we also get Bill's performance of, if I can't be me anymore, I don't want to be anything else, you know. She wants to die, and 12 sees that as well, with him not wanting to change yet. And he kind of relates to Bill in a way with that. And Nardal with his getting his flirty human girlfriend on him. And the Sidemen coming towards with menacing power. I love Doctor Falls, and I think it brilliantly works. And then we have the leading with Bill dead as just coming off as a Sideman, and the water puddle girl takes her from the pilot and flies off. And then we have the Masters gone, Nardal looking after humans, and the Doctor's like, no! And we lead into Twice Upon a Time, and we have the first Doctor. So we get two Masters and two Doctors, Cybermen, all different versions of Cybermen. Wow. This story has everything, and I really enjoy it, and I love everything about this, and Steven Moffat really performed that. You can certainly tell that Doctor Falls was meant to be the 12th Doctor's last story, but then we got an extra episode with Twice Upon a Time, and Twice Upon a Time, brilliant. And we actually have 30 minutes unseen, still hasn't been released. BBC released it, of Twice Upon a Time. There's actually more added on, so yeah. There's so much more we need to see from Steven Moffat's mind, and I think it's #1 slot. It's a big story, and I love everything about it. There's only one thing I don't like about the story, and it's the first Doctor kind of being a bit more sexist than he's normally meant to be. But, you know, other than that, I love it. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's my thoughts on my 5 favourite stories on Moffat. Hope you enjoyed them, and I'll see you guys for another video very soon. Have a nice day.